People from overseas looking at Hong Kong's famously dense cityscape, packed streets, and skyscrapers might not realize that this place is also great for hiking and trail running. Actually, if you look further in those typical pictures, you will almost always see mountains behind those buildings. That leads us to the first reason: convenience. One great thing about cities, apart from some American ones, is that everything is so close and public transportation is reasonably good. But Hong Kong stands out in that nature itself is also very close to where people work and live. If you work in Central, say, 15 minutes later, voila, you could be power hiking up the peak as some kind of an after-work workout. Same goes for where I live and where my parents live. And public transportation is good even outside the densely populated areas. You can go from this to this in less than 40 minutes by bus, and it's relatively easy to get resupply en route. But convenience to nature is not necessarily a good thing. Too much convenience can make some trails too crowded. At the peak of the hiking craze during the COVID years, some hiking spots can be as crowded as Mongkok, minus the tourists. But Hong Kong in fact offers some very remote and tranquil trails which for one reason or another never gets really popular, usually because they are not maintained by the government. So if you want to be a bit more adventurous, you can. The third thing is that from a trail running perspective, especially for those who are training for those mountainous European races, Hong Kong doesn't disappoint. It is actually hard to find dirt trails that are flat to run on for long. Given the closeness of the hills to the urban areas, it is easy to train for the climbs here. The fourth reason is the variety of scenery you can get on the trails. You have the sea, you have the dense and tall buildings, the large green space, and the rolling hills, and a lot more specific to the hill or the mountain you're on in such a concentrated city. And the fifth reason is that the weather here is generally good for hiking and trail running. That is, if you can tolerate the heat and humidity in the summer and the occasional pouring rain. The main thing is that it never gets dangerously cold. On the coldest days, usually a windbreaker will suffice if you're moving relatively vigorously. You don't have to worry too much about layering and so on, and so you can bring much less on a hike or a run. I'm sure there are more reasons that Hong Kong is a great place for hiking or trail running, but to be honest, I can't see any reason to the contrary. The fact is, the more I hike or run here, the more appreciative I am of how good a place Hong Kong actually is for hikers and trail runners. And if there is nothing else we can feel grateful for, we can just be grateful for this one thing.